The news with Eric Stewart. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Sophie.
The headlines.
Prime Minister confirms compensation packages for Matinale and RM1 after central bank shake-up. Dev Joku refuses to resign despite damning human rights report on Melrose prison violence. Iconic dal pourri sees price hike and amid surging ingredients, fuel and transport costs. Mobile operators to dismantle 3G networks under government-approved timeline to modernize telecommunications. And in world news, Trump administration signals no automatic back pay for federal workers during shutdown. 5.5 million rupees for Ramasitanen and 512,000 rupees for Gérard Sanspeur. That's the amount of compensation to be paid to the two former executives of the Bank of Mauritius following their resignations. This information was communicated by the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam, during the private notice question from the Leader of the Opposition in Parliament yesterday. The head of government specified he had personally requested their resignations, a decision taken in the interest of the country's banking and financial sector. He added that the appointment of a new governor and a new second deputy governor at the central bank, as well as a new CEO at the Financial Services Commission, namely Desiree Venkatachelem, aims to restore confidence and strengthen good governance within the institutions. And staying with Parliament, during Prime Minister's question time, responding to a question about the incidents that occurred at Melrose Prison on July 17, the Prime Minister, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam, reaffirmed that his government will not tolerate any violations of human rights, recalling that such abuses had been observed under the previous regime. He stressed that defending the sanctity of human rights and the dignity of every citizen will remain central to the government's action. Another issue raised, answering a question from MP Kushal Lebin, the Prime Minister clarified that following phone calls made to journalist Naren Jasutnanan, police officers went to his home to arrest him. The head of government insisted that the Commissioner of Police had not been informed of this action. Also on the agenda, the Attorney General's office will soon submit proposals for setting up a constitutional review commission. This body will be mandated to propose constitutional reforms, including electoral reform and governance. Mauritians will be prioritized to serve on this commission. And on to other news, where despite the damning report of the National Human Rights Commission on the violence at Melrose Prison on July 17, Prison Commissioner Dev Joku has made it clear that he will not step down. He says he sees no reason to resign, claiming that only the Prime Minister can ask him to leave. It will be recalled that the director of NGO Jimwa said that there had been unacceptable torture, unworthy of a state of law, and that the prison commissioner no longer had the moral right to remain in office. And now moving to consumer-related news, the price of dal pourri has recently increased from 17 rupees to 20 rupees per piece. This hike is mainly due to rising ingredient costs, especially edible oil, which has nearly doubled in price in recent weeks. In addition, higher fuel and transport costs have also pushed production expenses up. Despite the increased demand for this traditional dish remains strong, reflecting its cultural importance in Mauritian daily life. Consumer associations are closely monitoring the situation, however, and have called for a review to ensure that the price hike is justified. And in other news, only 2% of active mobile phones in Mauritius still operate solely on 3G, a percentage considered too low by operators who have requested the progressive deactivation of the network. The Cabinet approved the decision during its October 3 meeting. Minister of Technology Avinash Ramtal says the dismantling will begin soon, following a precise schedule for each operator. The process is expected to be fully completed within 3 years. And you're listening to RM1. We move to international news now, where the Trump administration has warned on Tuesday of no guaranteed back pay for federal workers during a government shutdown, reversing what was a long-standing policy for some 750,000 furloughed staff, according to a memo being circulated by the White House. U.S. President Donald Trump signed into law following the longest government shutdown in 2019 during his first term in office, legislation that ensures federal workers receive back pay during any federal funding lapse. In Trump's new memo, however, his Office of Management and Budget says back pay must be provided by Congress if it chooses to do so as part of any bill to fund the government. The move is widely seen by many as a strong-arm tactic, as a way for the Republican administration to apply pressure on lawmakers to reopen the government, now on its 8th day of shutdown. That's all from me this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Tune now to the Intimate playlist until 10 a.m.